I'm Joe Ricca, and the very proud superintendent of schools here in the White Plains City School District in White Plains, Westchester County, New York. And like so many school districts across the country and so many of what we've already heard, we're really thinking a lot about coming back in September and making sure that we have the appropriate supports in place for not only our children, right, but also our adults and our community members. So moving to the next slide, basically a three-prong approach here in White Plains. And I want to go back to something Jesse had mentioned right at the outset, that before we can ever decide that, yes, we need to go 110% academics to make sure that we backfill any gaps so that there's no quote unquote learning loss, the first thing we need to attend to is the very human needs associated with all of our learners. So, right, we kind of say Maslow before Bloom, and make sure that we're addressing any existing trauma and ongoing trauma that is not just coming out of the pandemic, but also all of the many stresses associated with life in general, and then of course living life during the pandemic. So a mechanism for identification of trauma in our schools was important, and we're devoting a great many resources to making sure that all of our helping professionals have the tools that they need to be able to identify issues from both profound and really debilitating issues of trauma to, just sort of social anxiety or having some concern with re-entry into society. Now, we were very fortunate here in White Plains. We had all of our children back full time in March and April. So we were able to sort of use that time period as a ramping up for the next academic year and making sure that we were attending to the needs of our kids as they came back into school after being in both a remote and a hybrid setting. But we also know that there are a number of learners who weren't able to come back for a variety of reasons, and they're going to be setting foot in schools for the very first time come September. So we're really trying to make sure that we have the mechanisms in place to identify that need, the professional development, ongoing support and commitment to professional development for our faculty and staff members, and also for our community members, to make sure that they have all of the skills necessary to support our kids. We also have partnered with community partners to bring clinics into our facilities so that children have real-time access to health care clinicians when needed, again, in conjunction and support from social workers and guidance counselors with, of course, parent and guardian approval. But having these resources in our facilities goes a long way to making sure that we're able to support our kids. We also did something a little bit different with our American Rescue Plan funds, and we took a portion of those funds and really reinvested them into our workforce. Folks who were with us all throughout the pandemic and who are coming back in September. We have a wellness initiative. It's just $50 a month, but it's a total of $500. And when you think about what folks did above and beyond all of the necessary aspects and the critical aspects of education, we think it goes a long way to showing people how committed they were to our kids and how committed we are to thanking them appropriately. So, with all of the different ways that you can approach supporting children and supporting parents and guardians and community members, we've tried to do it in a way that's really multifaceted, that does keep trauma at the forefront in terms of addressing those issues prior to thinking that we're going to be able to successfully navigate and backfill learning loss. So final thoughts, I think, for 21, 22, and if you just click that again for me, Chris, I think it'll all pop up there. Yeah. Gratitude, making sure that we're keeping, every day and everything that we do, a gratefulness for the opportunity to serve our community and serve our kids, keeping that commitment front and center, and making sure that parents and guardians understand that no matter where they're coming from after the pandemic, or even as we're still navigating the pandemic, we're going to be here to support them. You can click again. Resilience, recognizing that that is not a constant for everyone. There is a continuum of care and a continuum of concern. I may just be able to bounce back from a lot of things, while Thomas might take a little bit longer. We have to respect that, understand that, and support those individuals all throughout their journey. I don't need to explain grace and how important it is for all of us as public servants serving children and their families, to do that, or to display that in every way that we can. Again, right? Folks need to be loved. We say there are two things you probably don't say enough in your life: I love you and thank you. We try to make sure that our children and all of our community members here in the White Plains City School District feel that love and care in everything that they do. And then finally, staying WP proud. And this is our silly hashtag, but it really is at the center of everything. We want to be proud about our commitment to each other, supporting each other, and making sure that nobody gets left behind as we move through this very difficult time. And thank you so much